I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Honestly, I feel like they meddled a bit too close to the sun on this adventure for the Mystery Inc.
You say that the meddling is your issue. My issue with this phrase is the word kids, because the characters in this movie are. You cannot convince me they're a day less than 35.
That
Freddie
is a man.
Prinze Jr. Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. Matthew Lillard, are you kidding me? He has his like AAA card? No, that's for your car. What do old people get?
Oh, AARP.
He has an AARP card.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is the Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym.
It stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
My name is Dara. As always, I'm here with my lovely co-host, Emily.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking... Well, okay, so this month, the beautiful month of October, the vibes are simply right.
Mm-hmm.
October, I would argue, has one of the best vibes of any month.
Oh, 100%.
Because the way you can turn Halloween into a 4-week-long celebration is unlike any other holiday. Because, like, you can get into the Christmas spirit, but it doesn't feel like Christmas until you're, like, there, right?
Yep.
No, it's October 1st, and I'm, like, fully decorative gourds.
Yep.
Got the pumpkin-shaped Reese's. Like, it's... You can... Every day, from the 1st to the 31st, is Halloween.
Yeah. I finally, like, October 1st, I put on a sweater, and I just, like, leveled up. It's, like, I don't know how else to describe it. It was perfect.
Just started making some sort of autumnal soup. It just, yeah, just feels right. But so, for the month of October, we're doing ooky, spooky, kooky. Is like the vibe. Because they're not all per se Halloween movies. No.
But it
or
fits.
Even like horror for that say, but it's just more like the Halloweeny October vibe of ooky spooky and a little kooky.
I want to clarify for any listeners, we will not be doing any scary movies this month. Strictly because we don't want to.
We're keeping it light.
I don't think any of us, or either of us, are really, like, horror fans. Like, the most horror I could do is Scream, and that's about it. And that's not even, like, that's, like, slasher.
Or, like, there's, like, a little, like, I would prefer the term psychological thriller if we, like, err on the side of, like, an A24 or, like, The Shining. Yeah. Something like that is more my speed, and I think we'll probably get around to doing something more in that genre in the near future, but ooky, spooky, kooky means we're keeping it fresh, we're keeping it light, we're keeping it very, like, that, like, ABC Family 30 days of... I mean, that's not necessarily true, but as for today's, it's a very family-friendly movie.
Yeah.
For today, which is the 2002 live-action rendition of Scooby-Doo.
I feel like this is very much a pick for us. We really wanted to do this movie. Like, you can, it's definitely in the spooky category. They go to Spooky Island. It's Scooby-Doo. It's got that vibe about it. But you and I grew up watching this movie. This is my cult classic of choice.
Right? I just was simply under the impression that this was one of the most beloved movies of all time, and you just, like, absolutely shattered my whole world when you told me that the Rotten Tomatoes audience score was, like, what, 33%?
Something like that, yeah.
I can't believe it. What do y'all have? Okay, well, actually, there are some valid points against this movie, which we can get into, but this is simply a pillar of why I am the reason I am today.
Oh, 100%.
Were you a big Scooby-Doo fan growing up?
Huge.
Like, not just this, but the whole, like, franchise?
Yeah, no, Scooby-Doo was probably my favorite, show of choice as a child. I remember watching it at daycare pretty religiously, honestly. Yeah, I love it. And I love all the cartoon and, like, animated movies of it, too. There's so many good ones. Like, I've got them, like, on replay in my brain.
I haven't seen the newest one, Scoob. I haven't seen...
Why would you?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I would maybe be interested in giving it a look. But I totally agree with you that I think... It's crazy how much of an impact this show managed to have, considering that it started airing in 1969. And that we were fully, like, young children in the early 2000s. This movie came out in 2002. Like, we were fully, like, small-ass children And it was still, very regular Sunday morning cartoon. Like, got the VHS tapes. I think I really have the one where they go to, like, the Arctic and they, like, the Yeti, the snowy one.
I don't remember that one super well.
I remember watching that one at daycare, like, at least twice a week. But yeah, the old cartoony ones. You recently watched one of the ones from the 80s, right?
Yeah, well, when I watched this one, I said, okay, I have to do a double feature. And so me and my sister Alyssa have a lot of love for the movie Ghoul School. The one which is also very Halloween vibes. It was perfect. Just fit right in. So it's like they go and Shaggy and Scooby are like gym teachers at this all-girls school for like monsters. So it's like Dracula's daughter and like a mummy's daughter or something like that and all this stuff. Did you never watch this one?
It's not ringing a bell, but it sounds hilarious.
It's like, it's got like a rare like red shirt Shaggy in it too. I think it's from 1988. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that one was one of my favorites for sure. But I also there was like the werewolf one. Great, classic, outstanding.
It was very like Phineas and Ferb in that way that every episode was the exact same structure, like periodical, like you knew exactly every beat of every moment of every show, and it didn't matter. I still wanted to be there.
Just a marathon of Scooby-Doo, and I could not get bored.
But this movie actually kind of takes it in a couple of different directions.
For sure.
And it doesn't follow that super classic Scooby-Doo, like, plotline beat per se, which I think has its merits, but it certainly also has its faults.
Yeah, there's a couple of different, like, plot lines that don't get really tied up in the end of this. It feels like they definitely wanted to do a lot more than the studio actually let them do.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you that, actually in the beginning, they wanted this to kind of be, like, a little raunchier than they fully intended was to be for adults, because they were like, the people who grew up watching Scooby-Doo are probably around 18 or plus by this point in 2002, which was unfortunately not the case, because the show still, like, continued to be really popular even for kids our age through the 90s and early 2000s. But so their original intention was like, we want this to be kind of raunchy. They were going to like show Shaggy ripping a bong. They said they were going to have like a little Velma Daphne lesbian like experimenting subplot. Like they're really going to go for like an R-rated Scooby-Doo feature. And then they pitched it and it got through, but they were like, we suggest you maybe make some changes. And then they got the cast on and then they were like, okay, let's kind of flip this, and it's gonna be really family friendly.
Yeah, no, justice for Daphne and Velma, honestly.
Right?
Because even in this movie, like, there's a couple of scenes where you're like, no, they're fucking.
It's heavy in movie 2. The sequel to this movie, Monsters Unleashed, I could not tell you a single thing about that plot other than that Daphne puts Velma in a latex bodysuit, and she says, like, who's your mommy? And that's all you need to know about the second movie is that one scene. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. But that's not this movie. But I totally agree with you. There are certainly some I'm like, Daphne, you gotta leave Fred's sorry ass. It's Velma.
They don't even seem like they're actually together is the other thing.
It's always, I think, like, a lot of the time in the TV show, it was, like, implied that they were, like,
together.
Into each other, but it was never, like, we're not really gonna go there.
Yeah, no, they didn't make it canon.
Cause, I mean, we can get into a little recap, but like, for a little Scooby-Doo history, if anybody is interested.
I'm interested.
So basically, after Robert Kennedy got assassinated.
Okay.
After the this is for real. After the RFK assassination, a lot of, like, moms in America started blaming violence on, like, media. They're like, as
nothing new.
Regular. They're like, but, like, basically they were like, oh, these instances of people, like, attacking our leaders are because of, like, violent TV shows.
Yeah.
And so the president started this commission that was, like, the review of media to prevent violence in America, some stupid act that I'm not getting the name right of, basically. But after the RFK assassination, they basically instilled, like, hey, we don't really want kids watching anything violent on TV. And almost every cartoon at that point was kind of like Batman and Robin, like, not what we would consider violent today, really, but did have that element of, like, danger, I guess, to it. And so the studio that put out a bunch of the cartoons at that time, they're like, well, let's get ahead of the curve. Let's make something that's kind of like softer and more family friendly so it can be kind of fully developed and out there before they can come to criticize it, basically. And so they started off as being like, they were a band, they were a punk band, and they solved mysteries on the side. It was like when they're not at their gig, they're solving mysteries because rent in New York is really high, so they gotta make some cash on the side.
They need a side gig.
And they had a dog, and the dog's name was Too Much. And Too Much in the brainstorming room, they're like, well, Too Much either needs to be a little dog with balls of steel or a huge dog who is a bumbling coward. And they're like, okay, let's go with the big dog. So they made him a sheepdog named Too Much. And so then after that got through the first like rounds of revisions, they were like, okay, a punk band, way too violent for kids. Kids can't know about punk music. Yeah. Also, at the time, the show Archie, his dog was a sheepdog. And they're like, you're clearly just copying Archie, so make him something different. And also, why is his name Too Much? And so from there, that's where it kind of got molded into Scooby-Doo, Mystery Inc. I guess the character design artists, he wanted it to be a really big dog, so he went to a what kind of dog is
Great Dane?
A Great Dane. He went to a Great Dane breeder, and he was like, and they were all talking about like, oh, to get the purest bred of Great Dane, they have to have like this level of muscle tension in their shoulders and like that, because you know those dogs are super like powerful. I don't know, but he was like, I want this to be the most fucking whack-ass looking Great Dane. He gives them 6 chins, he gives them bow legs. He's like, this is a Great Dane, but it's a fucked Great Dane. Yeah, like this Great Dane was not a purebred. This did not go to the breeders. But basically, they wanted it to be not a super violent kids show, which is why at the end of every episode, they just reveal that the monster was a person. And that's why there are never any real monsters in any Scooby-Doo things, because that teaches... For some reason, they're like... Instead of a billionaire in a costume pretending to terrorize children, that's a lot less scary than an actual vampire. Yeah. Which I'm like, no, it's not. But I guess back in the 70s, they're like, if at the end we just reveal that there was never any real threat to begin with, that is gonna like desensitize or like, you know, make kids more aware about danger. I don't know. Anyways, that's the history of Scooby-Doo, and that's why every episode ends with some sort of tycoon getting a mask pulled off.
This is a great history lesson.
Thanks. I love Scooby-Doo. Sometimes I'll like say their full names.
Scoobert
Because like people Scoobert Dubert. People tell me I look like Velma a lot, which is like, I have bangs and big glasses and like a round face. Like I do just look like Velma. Sometimes I'll be like in an orange turtleneck.
Set yourself up with that.
Looking for my glasses on the ground. And somebody will be like, you really remind me of Velma. And I'll be like, fuck you. But it's like, Jinkies, you know? Yeah. It's pretty nice because I just have a built-in Halloween costume. Yeah. I do own an orange turtleneck. So all I have to do is put on an orange turtleneck and go to any Halloween event. And I just, boom, costume, done. Yeah. Corduroy skirt.
You're fine. If you haven't...
This movie, though.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, please do. I think... Like Legally Blonde, I think this is a movie that anyone and everyone should be watching.
Absolutely, especially if you were born between the years, I'm going to say like 1992 and 2000, you should see this movie. Absolutely. This movie, it's like, I feel like it was such an integral part of my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
This one and the second one. I think I had them on DVD, like, worn to the bones.
This one is...
Because of how often I watched.
Yeah, this one definitely stuck with me a lot more than the second one, I think. But both of them are absolutely solid. I think I'll watch this, like, movie every maybe 2 years or something like that. Like, it still sticks around, like...
But I will say that even if you've watched this movie within the past year, I do believe that a recap is warranted, because if you asked me to 2 hours after I finished watching this movie to describe the plot of what had happened, I would have maybe got a 40% accuracy.
Yeah, that's about right.
So much whack fucking shit happens in this movie that just, like, doesn't really make a ton of sense, and it's really way more about, like, the funny character dynamics and, like, the high-paced action of it all. But if you actually try to get down to the nitty-gritty and say, like, what is this movie about?
Don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
No. Who was that wrestler guy? I don't know.
Yeah. Why was
Pamela Anderson there? I don't know.
Yeah, as herself. Who was Henry, who was the singer guy?
Sugar Ray. It was Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray.
Oh yeah, Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray as himself.
Couldn't say. I love it. It really like dates this movie too. Puts a nice little timestamp on it.
So 2000. The most 2002 thing to ever happen was Daphne stumbling across a Sugar Ray concert. Yeah, right. And like but so if you need a reminder, I've got you because I understand. And so the gang solves a mystery in a warehouse where they do the classic Scooby-Doo thing, which is pull the head off of the costume to realize that it's a guy who's been,
not just any guy,
some shit.
Old Man Smithers, Sarah.
Old Man Smithers is trying to fuck Pamela Anderson, and so he's decided to dress up as a ghost and spook his factory, which makes so that's where we get the classic beats of Scooby-Dooism. But then afterwards, the gang gets in a big fight because Fred is like, this was my plan the whole time. And Velma's like, you always take my ideas and for credit for yourself because you know I won't say anything. And then this turns into this big fight where Daphne's like, you guys just think I'm a damsel in distress. And they have a whole big fight and basically they're all like, we're breaking up as a team. And so then they all split up and then it's like a big flash forward. It's like
a couple of years, maybe.
A year? 2 years. Their hair all changes, so we know that time has passed. Freddie Prinze Jr. goes from like a very Justin Bieber like shag cut to like a tight Ken doll updo. So we know that some time has passed here, and they've all been doing different things. Freddie has written a book. Velma works at NASA. I wanted her to be like, well, Jinkies, I've been helping George Bush really plan out the logistics of 9/11, you know?
One of my favorite things was, because I was just watching some deleted scenes before, like, we started recording this, and Velma, it has, like, actual, like, cutaways to what they've really been doing. So, like, Fred's book is flopping, and Daphne is, like, taking, like, karate lessons, and Velma's in therapy. She was like, yeah, I'm taking time for myself, and it flashes to her in, like, group therapy.
Oh my god.
But anyways.
I love that for her. All hot bitches go to therapy.
It's just true.
So they all get an invitation from this mysterious guy to come to Spooky Island and to solve a mystery as part of a contest. So they're like, I want to win the mystery solving contest because I'm so good at solving mysteries because that's just what I do all the time. I don't even have a job. I just literally solve mysteries pro bono for the state.
I was gonna say, why didn't any of them pursue a career like with the FBI or something like that? Yeah.
But so they're all gonna go to Spooky Island to solve a mystery, and they all bump into each other at the airport, and they're like, oh my god, you guys are here? Like, as if you got an invitation and the rest of your homies didn't. Like, but so they all are like, well, fine, guess we'll all go to Spooky Island, and we'll all just do our own thing, like as if that was gonna happen. So they get to Spooky Island, and it's run by Emil Mondavarius, a.k.a. Rowan Atkinson.
Here's my thing, is that I'm pretty sure that character was supposed to be played by Tim Curry, and then
that would have been so good.
I couldn't tell you the validity of this, but I heard this somewhere. But it was supposed to be played by Tim Curry, and then he heard that Scrappy-Doo was a character in this, and he said absolutely fucking not, and then he left the whole thing.
Spoiler alert, but he learned that his face would be used as a mask for that disgrace of an animal, and he said absolutely fucking not. And Rowan Atkinson said,
yes, please.
I have no qualms with any tomfoolery. So his name is Emile Mondevarius, which one of my favorite running bits throughout this is that Fred calls him something different every time he refers to him. So at one point he calls him like mononucleosis. And like he never said, I don't know, it's just fun. That really got me this time around. As this is one of those movies that it's like also for the adults.
Which I love.
You know what I mean? That it's like for the kids, but it's also like got those for the adult jokes.
It ages with its audience.
And so at this island, there's like all these college students going on spring break, but then they like turn into zombies. And he's like, this is the issue here. So I'm going to need you guys to get on this. But then also there's this guy named like Nagu Tuwana who like has all these tribal tattoos and is bald and is like hosting these rituals and is saying like they're trying to suck the energy out of our land, which is making me think like, did Rowan Atkinson like colonize this island
Probably.
to put his theme park on it? Because that's a way bigger issue we should be talking about here.
Yeah.
Is like at first glance I was like, eccentric billionaire building a theme park called Spooky Island, genius, amazing. I wish all like Jeff Bezos going to space, fuck that, build Spooky Island, you know. But then you look a little deeper and you're like, oh, no. You are like gentrifying and like fucking over the indigenous population of this island. It's, and they never even
We can't overlook this.
Daphne goes and speaks with this guy who lives on the island and he's like, do not go into the castle. And she's like, okay, so I'm going to go. So they all go into this castle, which is basically the world's biggest escape room. And they find these, like, training videos, which are, like, training people how to speak like normal, young, hip adults. And they also find this little golden pyramid called the Daemon-ritis, which is, like, what the fuck is, like, 80,000 different plot points happening all at the same time. Fred and Daphne get captured and get turned into like zombie people. Shaggy and Scooby fall down a hole. Also, Shaggy's been having this romantic affair with a girl named Mary Jane, which is not subtle at all. But they fall down this hole and they discover all these souls swimming. They look like little sperms, like it's somebody's head with a little ghost tail, like swimming around in this pit. And he sees Fred and Daphne in there and he like pulls their little soul heads out and their souls go flying through the air and zapping back into their bodies. And then these like demon monster things come out, but they disintegrate because they're allergic to the sun. And then there's like all this body switching thing going on because all the different souls. So it's like Fred is in Shaggy's body, Shaggy's in Velma's body. It's just this whole little body switching moment, which takes up maybe 15 minutes of screen time. And then the demons are gonna rule the world if they get their hands on the Daemon-ritis. And so they're doing this big plan to take over these college students so they can get their hands on this little tiny golden pyramid thing. And so then they're gonna do a ritual called the Dark Apocalypse ritual, and so suddenly the gang knows about this and they're like, we have to set up a big Rube Goldberg machine to somehow stop this. So they try to set up a thing to make the sun come into the cave, but it doesn't work. And then it turns out the only way they can do the ritual is if they get a pure soul to sacrifice, and the purest soul is that of Scooby-Doo. So they capture Scooby-Doo, and they're trying to do this ritual so they can sacrifice his soul, but then amidst the mumbo-jumbo, the hubble, the bubble, the rickety-rackety of it all, it turns out that Rowan Atkinson's character has been the bad guy the whole time, and also that his face is a mask, and he's being controlled by Scrappy-Doo. And there's some history, clearly. Scrappy is Scooby's cousin.
He's a disgruntled cousin.
He's offended that they didn't want him to hang out, but he's fucking annoying, so why would they? And so then he consumes all of the souls and morphs into like a hulked out version of himself.
It's horrifying.
And he is like, this is how it happens, but then the gang somehow they use the thing to they sort everything out, basically. They save the day. And that's the end of the movie. That's so much. Literally, could you have told me any of that? Because I couldn't. I had to make a bulleted list of plot points.
I feel like we didn't even touch on like 4 different things either.
Right? But there's artifacts. There's monsters. There's cults. There's...
What more could you need out of a movie? I don't know.
It's too much. It's too much, quite frankly, because I couldn't keep track of it all. But I mean, as a viewer, you're kind of like, I don't really care if I don't understand what's going on because there's a CGI dog on the screen.
This is a movie that I'd like some film major to do their like final thesis on.
Yeah.
Please, if someone out there is in film school, just consider doing this movie as like your senior thesis, because I'd really love to read it.
I would say, even as fucking a hot mess that the plot is, it is completely resolved by the amazing, just the vibe of the characters. I think the dialogue is fucking amazing. The costumes, the music.
The music really hit.
So good. Outcast, Solange, Sugar Ray.
What more could I need?
It's just really, I remember loving as a kid, thinking that the soundtrack of these movies was so good. I remember being like, oh my god, they're playing like Rasta music while they're on an island. That's so cool how movies can do that.
Who would have ever thought of that? Crazy. So I do want to bring up the fun fact about this movie. I was doing a little research about it. And the budget for this, do you have any idea what the budget was? $84 million. Which I was looking up at all of our last episodes. That is more than any movie that we've done in the past, like, 3 months or something like that. The last movie that had a budget higher than this was Attack of the Clones, which was, like, $100 to, like, $120 million.
Oh, my God. You can't even see me. My jaw is dropped. Okay, so part of me understands, because they really got they got Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was peak Buffy at this point. Like, she was A-list, right? And so they got her, and I wouldn't say any of the others were quite A-list at that time, but they were all still, like, pretty fucking successful. Like, Freddie Prinze Jr. was Sarah Michelle Gellar's boyfriend before this.
They're married now.
So they were, like, right, I love that. But so they went into this as a couple because, but they specifically wanted a couple to play Fred and Daphne because they wanted that, like, dynamic. And they got Sarah Michelle Gellar on board, and she was the one who had to convince Freddie Prinze. He was like, I'm not so sure about this. And she was like, come on, it'll be so much fun. And then I feel like he does such a good job with
he was perfect. Character. I think he was perfectly cast.
All right. Jen's here. Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
So Jen is here as always to do her little interim segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. It's a game you invented. It's pretty cool. We do it every episode. You ask us 2 things. We just say which one we like better. Those are the rules. It's very easy. Is there a theme?
There is a theme. So stay with me, okay? So Scooby-Doo has double O in Scooby, double O in Doo. And then I was thinking, like, Fanny Dooley. Fanny Dooley loves noodles and hates pasta. Remember Fanny Dooley from Zoom?
Yes, I'm going to have to explain. So there was this show. We're talking about things that are very quintessentially like early 2000s, late 90s, and Zoom is one of those. Not the video conferencing platform, but a PBS show called Zoom. And
based out of Boston, I think.
It was like SNL for kids, basically. And it was like a live broadcasted PBS show with like kids, and they did segments, and they would read fan mail. It was very like public access television type beat stuff, but they did a segment called Fanny Dooley, and the theme song was like FANNOODOODEE. That I was not correct, but it was all about double letters, and kids would write in, and they'd be Fanny Dooley only likes things with double letters, so it'd be like Fanny Dooley loves pizza but hates cheese and bread. You know, it would be like two things that are basically the same, but one of them just has a double letter. Is this where you're going with this? It's a double letter theme week?
Yeah, so everything's just has a double letter. That's it. And actually both choices have double letters.
Okay. So we are all Fanny Dooley this week.
Yes, we are pro Fanny Dooley. All right. And the other thing, you know how you said you always say that I invented it and we all laugh. I was telling my friend Jill about chocolate or vanilla, and she's like, yeah, like, would you rather? And I'm like, I guess so, right?
Yeah, but would you rather leave, like, I feel like a lot more you can explore with. Like, would you rather do this horrible and gross thing or this other horrible and gross thing? This is just
And yours is always like pancakes or waffles. So
like, it's in the same vein, but it's certainly not the same.
Yeah, Fanny Dooley loves waffles and hates pancakes, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Ooh, we got a 3 for this week. Chocolate.
Stick with vanilla.
And chocolate.
You one time went rogue and chose
Depends on the
strawberry,
mood.
and it really just like every week I'm on the edge of my seat guessing what you're gonna choose, Emily. You're so unpredictable.
Maybe next time you'll get a strawberry thrown in there.
Okay. Cinnamon coffee or vanilla latte?
Ooh, cinnamon coffee. I love the combination of cinnamon and coffee. So we were just talking about things that are just like quintessentially like fall vibes, and I've just started allowing myself to get like chai lattes, like cinnamon based, just to really get in the mood.
I'm gonna have to go with vanilla latte just because I love a latte.
Nice. I'll take cinnamon coffee. PB and fluff or PB and jelly?
I'm just gonna say peanut butter and jelly because that's more like classic, 24/7 casual. I would be more of a rare choice for me to choose fluff because it's just like, I don't know. Most of the time I want a PB&J. And for anyone out there who needs a little hot tip, make yourself a peanut butter and jelly and then put butter on the outside and then grill it like you would a grilled cheese.
Hot.
So it's like, act like you're making yourself a grilled cheese, and you can do it with peanut butter or fluff, Nutella, whatever, but just like make yourself a grilled cheese, but don't put any cheese in it. Do peanut butter and jelly. It's fucking good.
And then sprinkle a little bit of confectionery sugar on the top, right?
If you're feeling fancy.
Yeah, no. I as a child pretty much lived off of peanut butter and fluff, but nowadays it's definitely peanut butter and jelly. I'll still bring a peanut butter and jelly to work with me for break, so.
And do you do traditional like grape jelly, or do you mix it up with different flavors like strawberry, raspberry, whatever?
Sometimes I'll mix it up. I make a lot of my own jelly over the summer, so I'll use like strawberry jam that I made, and just nothing like it.
Nice.
Okay, Farmer Emily.
So we should just start selling my jam on the website.
Oh my god.
But Jen, what about you? Where do you stand?
I'm gonna go classic PB&J. Beetlejuice or Edward Scissorhands?
Ooh, this is really hard. I really like those two movies a lot, but in this moment, if you told me right now, like, your options are tonight, we're gonna watch Beetlejuice or we're gonna watch Edward Scissorhands, I'd pick Beetlejuice.
110%. It's just so fun. Edward Scissorhands, like, gets a bit heavy almost, you know what I mean?
It does.
Yeah. I just think, like, for where Edward Scissorhands shine, like, they both have their quality. Like, I love the aesthetics of that movie. Like, so, it's just so nice and pretty to watch, but Beetlejuice is just more of a romp, and I'm in that mood, I'm in that Halloween romp mood.
And they're both totally, like, one of a kind, for sure. One of my friends was Edward Scissorhands for Halloween. He just, like, carried 2 scissors and did the makeup. It came out really good. Did the white face with the black eyes. I'm gonna go Edward Scissorhands, though. Next one, penne or spaghetti, like long spaghetti?
Oh, I'm gonna say penne, because I think penne can hold a wider variety of sauces than spaghetti. Because, like, certain, spaghetti, you kind of want it with, like, traditional sauce or, like, maybe Alfredo. But honestly, for me, that's about it. Whereas, like, a mac and cheese. You can make that with penne. Or, like, a pasta dish. I don't know. Spaghetti's a little flimsy, whereas I think penne stands the test of time and holds up.
Yeah, spaghetti just doesn't really do it for me. It's probably one of my least favorite pasta shapes. And penne is, like, one of my favorites. So I'm going to have to go with penne.
All right. Wow, I'm going to go against you guys. Don't you love twirling it with your fork?
Feels like work.
Slurping it up. It's too much work.
Yep.
Jerry Seinfeld or Haley Steinfeld?
I'm sorry, Haley, but I simply must choose Jerry. I know he's a creep to women and stuff, but just his impact, I cannot say the same of her.
Did you guys watch
the Bee Movie? Haley Steinfeld could never do the Bee Movie.
She did, like, Transformers with Bumblebee. So, no.
Don't you dare compare those two. Not even close, Jen.
Yeah, see, I'm having a really hard time because Jerry Seinfeld did date, like, a 14-year-old or something like that when he was, like, 30-something.
He fucking sucks, but...
She also did Pitch Perfect 2, 3, and 4.
Jen, do we even have to ask you who you're gonna pick? No.
Yeah, I guess I'll go for Jerry Seinfeld, even though I give more credit to Larry David for writing that show. But
did you guys watch Seinfeld?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen the important episodes. The Soup Nazi, you know. I guess they just put it up on Netflix, but they changed the aspect ratio to fit the Netflix size screen. And a lot of like key elements to certain episodes, like the actual visual punchline is out of frame because Netflix cropped all the episodes. So like they're saying like anybody who's gonna watch Seinfeld for the first time right now on Netflix is like gonna miss out on a lot because they fully cropped the show.
But I'm gonna go with Haley. Like she's girl power.
Yeah, no shit.
All right. Doogie Howser or Jimmy Neutron?
Jimmy Neutron, just because I didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with Neil Patrick Harris, and I did grow up.
Ask Henry, Jimmy Neutron or Doogie Howser.
Hey, Henry, Jimmy Neutron or Doogie Howser?
Doogie Howser.
Henry says Doogie Howser, as if it is a no-brainer. But I would say that the intro music to Jimmy Neutron plays in my head 95% of my life. It's just on a loop. The Jimmy Neutron theme song, along with the imagery, of course.
You need to hum it right now.
I will not be doing. These poor listeners had to put up with me singing so much during Musicals Month. I genuinely don't know how we have anybody still listening to this show.
Similar to Dara, I did not grow up with Doogie Howser, so I'm gonna have to say Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Doogie Howser, which also had like a kickin' theme song. So, bubblegum or cookies?
Cookies. I'm not a huge gum person. I don't really like the feeling of like food in my mouth that I can't swallow. You know, I've never been a huge gum person. Like if I have to like chew a stick of mint gum to like get a bad taste out of my mouth or something, like I will, but I'm just not really an active gum chewer. I'd much prefer like an Altoid, something that dissolves pretty quickly. You know, I'm just not, or even bubblegum flavored things never really sit right with me either. Like bubblegum ice cream or like, I don't know, anything like that. Not particularly my jam. And cookies, that's a whole world of beautiful, amazing things we could delve into. Whereas bubblegum.
See, I'm having a really hard time with this because bubblegum has like an important like use, you know what I mean? Like it helps me out. Like you said, if I have bad breath or bad taste in my mouth, like there's a purpose for that. Cookies are just strictly enjoyment, but at the same time, I do enjoy like a piece of gum. But like also, I feel like cookies and gum aren't very comparable almost. So I think I'm gonna have to say cookies, but I respect gum a lot. Just gonna get that out there.
I'm definitely gonna go with cookies too. Thomas Jefferson or Lafayette?
Oh my god, Jen, every week with the Hamilton.
Lafayette?
I'm gonna... Do we know, did Lafayette own slaves in real
Good
life?
question.
He probably did.
Do you want me to Google?
Yeah. Because even if we're speaking strictly in the context of Hamilton the musical, those two characters both have really great songs, some of the best in the show. But if we're speaking truly as historical figures.
He initially owned slaves, but he became actively involved in the abolitionist cause. So I guess that's
Sure. Let's
better.
Let's take that with a grain of salt. But that's far more than we can say about Slave Master TJ. Yeah. So I'll go with Lafayette. I suppose.
Yeah, I'll second Dara's statement there.
Yeah, Lafayette for the sweep. Okay, ding, ding, ding. This is a three. All three. Cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese, mozzarella cheese.
We were just talking about the ultimate cheese question, which I love to just bring up unprompted in any given social situation. It's just you have to choose one cheese for the rest of your life, and that's the only cheese you're allowed to eat. And so for you listening at home, this is something you can really think about deep into the night when you can't sleep. It's just like, what cheese would you pick? But what did you say my options are? Cheddar, mozzarella,
Swiss.
Or... who the fuck is going to pick Swiss?
Well,
I'm
it has
sorry.
double S's. That's...
I'll pick cheddar because although mozzarella is quite applicable in Italian context, I do believe that cheddar is the most diverse cheese as far as applications, sandwich-wise, pasta-wise, across the board, I'm just going to say solid. Especially comes in a variety of forms. Sharp, mild,
seriously
yellow,
sharp.
white. Yeah, so it's got to be cheddar.
Yeah, no, I am a bit of a cheese person. And my allegiance stands with cheddar cheese. Mozzarella, I get it. It has its purposes. But like Dara said, cheddar's super versatile, so.
I would say, for me, I would never cut off a hunk of mozzarella and just eat it, but I would with cheddar.
I do with cheddar. Like,
yeah.
What about you, Jen?
Yes. Same, definitely cheddar. Russell Brand or Katy Perry?
I don't like either of these people.
I was gonna say, I don't like either of them, but in the situation of a divorce, I just need to side with the woman, because I just don't, I don't know. Is that wrong with me? I just feel like she was probably wrong.
He broke up with her, minutes before a show, minutes before a concert, and he called her.
Yeah, see, he seems like, I don't know the details of this, because I was simply not interested to learn anything about it, but see, I knew, and you just look at something like that and you're like, oh, he's a piece of he did something shitty, huh? Right? Because why would he dump Katy Perry?
Yeah.
I don't know. She's kind of garbage too, but I'll pick Katy Perry.
Yeah, I'll also go with.
She did give us such momentous hits of the early 2010s, such as I Kissed a Girl.
Yeah, no, I gotta agree with you there. Katy Perry for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Katy Perry for the sweep. Queen or Def Leppard?
Queen. Sorry.
Yeah,
I would say Queen too. Although I met somebody this week who was a Def Leppard stan. She just loved Def Leppard. That was her. She's very vocal about it.
Yeah, I've never met one of those.
Okay, Aardvark or Llama, and specifically Arthur the Aardvark or Llama Llama Red Pajama.
Oh my god, I was gonna bring this up if you weren't, Jen, because I have some mascotting experience, meaning that I had to wear a mascot costume.
Oh my god, I remember this.
At my job in high school, there's a children's book character called Llama Llama Red Pajama, and it's just a series of very picture books for kids about a llama llama red pajama, it all rhymes, whatever. But they're at this library I worked at, they're okay, we need somebody between 4'11" and 5'3" who weighs between 90 and 110 pounds. And I was like, that could only be me. Just tell me I have to do it. Don't give me these weird mascot costume, ramification stats, and just, tell me that I have to do it because I'm the lowest paid person here. I get it. And so for a certain story time, I had to wear, and my eye holes were in the llama's neck. So the whole llama's head sat on top of my head. Because llamas have long necks, right? Maybe I'll post a picture on Twitter. I'll post a picture on our Instagram story or on Twitter or something if you guys want to see it. At the time I had to be a mascot costume. And I'm simply traumatized. And also they're just okay books. So I'm going to say I love Arthur. I loved that show growing up. And the theme song, Ziggy Marley, such good shit. And Arthur says, what does he say? It isn't hard to get your library card or something like that. Arthur has always been an advocate for good shit. Advocating kids to come to library to fucking beat me up while I'm in a llama outfit. That I was drenched in so much sweat. I was there were kids trying to hug me and dance with me, and I was my eyes are about to roll into the back of my head because I'm wearing this 85-pound costume and I'm just dripping in my own sweat.
And everyone else's sweat who's been in that costume before you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it didn't smell cute either. But anyways, that's my really cool experience. But now I get to put mascot on my resume. So if that ever comes up again, we'll
I love that
see.
for you. Yeah, I'm also gonna go with Arthur just because it was a staple in my childhood.
All right, yeah, definitely Arthur for the win. Last one, calling somebody a weenie or calling somebody an A-double-S hole?
Oh, okay. My gut instinct was to say call them an asshole because I do that to probably somebody every day. But I think calling somebody a weenie has a certain effect to it that they're like, wow, I can't believe you pulled out that weird word to call me. Like, that's a very specific, because anybody would be like, hey, fuck off, asshole. But to be like, you're acting like such a weenie right now, that really means something. So I gotta go with weenie.
No,
that's
you're
so funny.
so right. Like, weenie's just a little bit, like, demeaning. You know what I mean? You're like, wow, they put some thought into that.
Right, if somebody's like, hey, stop being an asshole, you're like, hey, alright. If somebody's like, hey, you're being a real weenie right now, I'd be like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna side with you on this. I'm gonna go with weenie.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with weenie.
That was a good one.
Oh, thank you. Yep, that's all of them. Yep, that's it.
Thanks so much, Jen.
Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, Jen, we love having Jen on the pod. We'll try to post the chocolate and vanillas at some point before, we'll try to do it within the week. Just keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram. You'll see it. There'll be like 8,000 posts, and you guys can tell us your opinion. We love to hear it. But back to the most important double letter situation here, which is Scooby-Doo. We're kind of getting into it about the casting, about how, it doesn't even need to be said that this is the most iconic source material to real life casting, like, basically ever.
It's perfectly
right?
done.
I can't see Linda Cardellini in anything without being
Velma.
like, Velma.
Mommy?
You know what I mean? That's like mommy. That's Velma, that's me.
Yeah.
But even just like Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard did such a good job in this role that they offered him to do the voicing for every Scooby-Doo cartoon as Shaggy from here on out, and he did. Starting in, I think the show picked back up in like 2008 or 10 or something like that, and he fully did the Shaggy voicing, because they were like, you did such a fucking good job in the movie.
Great. One thing I will say is, because you mentioned that new movie Scoob, or whatever, that came out, like, I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that. And they decided they did not cast Matthew Lillard as Shaggy in that movie. And he had this, like, crushing post about it and all that stuff. So I can respect anyone that wants to go and see the movie and see how it is, but I will not be attending.
Yeah, damn, are we boycotting Scoob? I stand with Matthew Lillard. We, a while back, collaborated on a 2016 or 2020 election person to actor if we were to cast it as a movie situation, and I just think he could do Donald Trump. Like, really, look at Google right now, if you're not like driving or anything, like, pull up your phone and Google like Matthew Lillard like today, right? And just really zoom in onto his face. I think if you slapped some really orange makeup and a toupee, and he has the character acting skills, I fully believe, to pull it off. He is. This isn't of my. I think I saw this on Reddit somewhere, right, where somebody was like, I really think he like
do it.
Has that those little squint, the eyes, and he's so good at manipulating his face. And Donald Trump was just such like a weirdly emotive person. I don't know, but so I really think I would love to see more stuff for him, because especially in this movie, absolutely.
Well, he's got a bit of a cult following now, especially in like recent years. He's popped back up. Yeah, and I've seen like a lot of. He goes to like so many different like Comic Cons and things like that, and he's very
so
dedicated.
Sweet. From every video I've seen,
very dedicated to his fans.
Loves his fans.
No. He Matthew Lillard, if you would like to be on our podcast, we'd love to have you.
Oh my god. I don't even know if I could handle myself. We would love to cover either Scream or the second Scooby-Doo movie, preferably the second Scooby-Doo movie with you. Oh my god. In the second movie, the outfits in this movie, oh my god,
how he looks like a blonde.
I will argue. Yes, the second movie, I would say that the outfits get even better, because they go to that museum opening and they all are in like the formal wear version of their original costumes, and he's in this like super 80s style tux with like the ruffled shirts. Yeah, so good. In this movie particularly, what stands out to me as far as costuming goes are Daphne's boots. Daphne's like Versace patent leather 8-inch that she fucking does karate in absolutely squashed me as a kid. I was like, this is, like, that's it. That's what being a woman means. Is kicking ass in those go-go boots. boots. I've never wanted anything more. I've said this before that, like, I am a Velma, but I aspire to be a Daphne, right? Like, I accept my truth for who I am, but I would love to prance around in thigh-high go-go boots and, like, kick the shit out of some... Right, but it just, like, isn't my truth, but it's what I aspire to.
I think everyone should, honestly. I feel like this movie made me like Daphne a lot more as a character than, like, in the actual, like, Scooby-Doo show.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot, so, like, basically the main characteristic of each character is, like, Velma's really smart, Freddy's the leader, Shaggy and Scooby are the comic relief, and Daphne is a woman. And so for a long time, they were like, well, her thing is that she's really, like, clumsy and ditzy, and she really attracts a lot of danger to her. So it was always like she was the one who got kidnapped, and that's why they she was always kind of the one who, like, falling into the danger, which is how they kind of realized something was going on. But as feminism happened, they were like, she can't just be, like, the damsel in distress, because that's not cool. So then they did add, for a while in the cartoons, they're like, she does karate now. They're like, so not, she's a hot girl, but also she does kung fu. And they just added that, which they employed in this movie as well. Canonically, she learned karate over her break. She does kick ass in those fucking, every outfit she's wearing, I'm like, girl, you're about to, like, go on the beach in, like, stilettos, but she fucking does it every time.
She knows her limits, and she knows her strengths, and she can do whatever she wants, but...
Okay, how do we feel about Mary Jane?
She just doesn't do anything for me, really. Like, other than, like, the funny thing is, like, oh, she's named Mary Jane, or whatever. Which, also, she's played by Isla Fisher, which is just so wild.
Right? Super weird. I like Isla Fisher as a blonde, like, in, like, Spring Break wear, but then, like, she does turn out to be inhabited by a demon at one point, which causes, like, some point of tension. But I just have to say, my only thought about her character is that she's on the fucking plane. She's on Spooky Air. They take Spooky Air to Spooky Island. So this is branding at its finest. And she's on the plane, and she's eating fucking dog treats. And Shaggy's like, oh my god, you're the girl of my dreams. You're eating dog treats. I also I'm a human who likes to eat dog treats. And she's like, that's crazy. They're, like, vegan or something like that. And I just have to say that the biggest, power move is, like, a first date, right? You show up on your first date, and you pull some, like, little doggy biscuits. And you just start munching on that shit.
It's a real test. See if, like, this person is gonna last, like, in your life. If they can tolerate you eating dog biscuits.
That is you establishing your dominance. You're like, yeah, I'm eating dog food, and what?
It's like you bring a can of dog food up to a first date. They're like, what will you have? Oh, no, I'm all right. And you just pull it out of your purse.
Oh, my God. Like, some Friskies. Honestly, the food we feed our cats has, like, whole pieces of shrimp in it. And sometimes I was like, gun to my head, if I had to eat this, I probably wouldn't be that mad about it, you know?
Like, gun to my head, I could do it.
Yeah. It's like whole pieces. There's, like, whole ass pieces of real food.
It would suck, but I could do it.
Yeah. But also, so they're on Spooky Air, and do you notice during this airplane scene how there's, like, a tiki bar? And people are just, like, freely roaming around the front of this
post 9/11.
This is 2002. We are hot off of 9/11. And you're having open bar tiki planes? I would dare that this is the first movie to make a move about airports. I would argue, somebody out there, if you're feeling really zealous, research what the first post 9/11 airport scene in a movie was, and I'm willing to argue that it's Scooby-Doo 2002.
I think that's a great observation. I think you're right. I think Scooby-Doo would dare to be that movie.
Yes. I'm just like, they're just, like, boozing up on a plane, and I'm like, wow, zero sensitivity to our cultural.
They said, we're doing this movie how we want to, like it or not.
So this movie is directed by the person who did, like, the Smurfs and Home Alone 3, like, nothing super notable, but very notably, James Gunn wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, as well as the newest Suicide Squad movie. So a lot of, like, I mean, a ton of other things other than that, but I think that really checks out. If you're like, the guy who wrote Scooby-Doo also wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, yes, that makes perfect sense. Right, that just like fully checks out in my mind.
No, you're so right. Should we dive into our regularly scheduled programming, or is there much else we have to cover?
Yes. No, I think we should. We can and we should. And I think Fuck, Marry, Kill is really hard because honestly, less of a Fuck, Marry, Kill. I want to go. I've never done this, and I will never do this. But I always think like a really great interview strategy, interviewing for a job, would be like, what are my best qualities? Is that I have all the best qualities of every member of Mystery Inc. And here's why. Right? You walk into a job interview and you're like, here's how I'm like Fred. Here's how I'm like Velma. Here's how I'm like Daphne. And here's how I'm like Shaggy. So I have those perfect qualities of all four. Not that that's necessarily true about me, but I always felt like that would be a pretty good strategy.
I like that idea, honestly. Yeah, not so bad. Yeah.
I would hire me. If somebody came in dropping mad Scooby-Doo references, I don't have a company,
it'd have to be
the
right job. It'd have to be the right job, but you could definitely do that, and I think you could get hired.
But as far as fucking, marrying, and killing, so do we want to just extend it so you get to pick out of the main four, right? And then you just get to omit the one of your choice.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Because there's a clear 4 here and a dog, and we're not including the dog. So I'm gonna kill Fred.
Yeah, that's the obvious choice.
Fuck him.
I couldn't care for him.
I'm gonna fuck. Oh, see, this is so hard. Because if I fuck Daphne, now I have to choose between who I marry, Velma or Shaggy, and that's just really hard. And
exactly.
I love Velma, but I can't marry myself, so I'm gonna marry Shaggy, because Velma and I, it would be one of those things people would think we're twins.
Yeah.
It's like when two blondes get together, you know, if two moon-faced bitches with bangs and glasses, it just wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, have you ever heard that thing where, like, lesbians start dating and they start looking more and more alike?
Yeah,
like,
right?
At the end of it, like, you two would not be distinguishable from each other. You guys would just be the exact same person.
And I'm already so close to being that. So yeah, I'm gonna marry Shaggy, because I would also like to like live in that van and pet that dog. It just seems like a very nice and chill life. So that's I will omit Velma.
Yeah, so obviously, similarly to you, I'm gonna kill Fred. Couldn't care. But yeah, it's really hard. I think part of me wants to marry Daphne, and I'm not sure why. Because like,
no, she seems pretty put together.
Yeah, she seems put together, and she seems very kind and caring. And also, I feel like Velma would almost like hold me to a high standard a little bit, which I don't want. I don't want that.
Like, we're not gonna do the New York Times crossword every week together.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Competitively, I'm gonna sleep in. That's
but like at the same time, like, I'm having this dilemma of not who I'd want to marry, who would I want to fuck, Velma or Shaggy, which I guess I'll go for Velma just because it's Velma. Well, she's just a woman and Shaggy is a man, so.
Yeah, this is true. Shaggy's definitely got that, like, you know how like stupid guys have huge dicks?
Shaggy lays pipe.
Yeah.
And there's not.
So then, I mean, I would say would you extend it to the whole movie, but I simply would not do anything different. Like, those are the 4 characters.
No, I could not care less about.
I have no interest in like Rowan Atkinson or
Pamela Anderson.
Mary Jane. Yeah, Pamela Anderson. Just not.
Yeah. So I think that
And so I know that like I just have a built-in Velma Halloween costume within my body that I own. Mm-hmm. But if you had to, if like a group of friends were like, okay, we're gonna do Mystery Inc. for Halloween, who would you?
Shaggy.
You get first pick. Yeah, I think you could pull off Shaggy.
Yeah,
for
I've
sure.
gone to I went to a party once which was just strictly Shaggy themed. Which was
Everyone
really
has
good.
to wear a green t-shirt. That's really funny.
Yeah, no, I could definitely do Shaggy pretty well, I'd like to think.
I love that. The idea for a party, smoking blunts, eating hoagies, green t-shirt.
That was like
your dog. That's amazing.
No, that was pretty much it. It was great.
That's really good.
Speaking of...
I would love... Okay, I don't know about like frat culture or like anything, but I don't know if this is how college parties work really, but if 4 like houses or like 4 groups, each throw a party of the theme of an so you have the Shaggy party, the Fred party, the Velma party. So it's like you smoke weed at the Shaggy party.
That's where you end the night.
You do cocaine at the Fred party. You do, I don't know, you get to like drink a Cosmo at the Daphne party, and then, I don't know, what do you do at the Velma party? You solve a math problem.
I was gonna say, I was trying to think, I was like, there's not really any drugs you would do at the Velma party.
I mean, well, not necessarily, it doesn't need to be a substance, but even like, there's a bunch of dogs
I feel like you drink,
at the Shaggy
you
party.
drink wine.
You do trivia. You do trivia at the Velma party.
I think you drink wine. So I think you'd have to drink wine at the Velma party. She wouldn't lower her standard to anything past that. And I don't feel like she drinks hard liquor.
No, it's like the next morning when you have to go to class. That's the Velma party.
You all have to go as Velma to class.
Yeah, everyone has to wear an orange turtleneck to class the next day.
No, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so I guess moving on from Fuck, Marry, Kill, because we simply will not be straying from these 4.
Mm-hmm.
Did you eat or drink anything particularly exciting with this? Or would you?
I just had popcorn, and I was drinking Wachusett blueberry beers.
Oh, what a great
which
beer.
are pretty Massachusetts centric, but just a great blueberry beer. So what I would say you should drink for this is some sort of tiki drink, obviously. It's the obvious choice.
It's a tiki movie, and they show multiple times, they show like really elaborate tiki drinks with like, I've a couple of times throughout my life, I've invested at the liquor store, I'll get the little swords or the little umbrellas, right? The little fun cocktail, and they just like, they're
make
like $1.50 or something, and just to have a little umbrella in your drink elevates the experience.
You've umbrellaed my drink once or twice when we were recording before. It's great.
It's amazing. It just feels nice.
Yeah.
It just sets the mood.
If I had to choose a particular drink for this, I'd say go for like a blue Hawaiian or something like that. It's got the fun color. It's one of those drinks where it's not super elaborate, but there's just a little bit of measuring. So it's not like you have to go crazy or anything like that, but you get a really nice drink out of it. Also, it's got like the same sort of color as like Scooby's collar, which I think is a fun little thing.
Yes. I would say, so like, I prefer to go the elaborate route, and I love a Mai Tai.
Ooh.
And there's so many common misconceptions about Mai Tais. There's no pineapple juice in it. There's no coconut rum in it. It's not like that kind of tropical drink. A Mai Tai is like just look up a good recipe for a Mai Tai. It has a specific type of simple syrup in it called like orgeat, which is kind of like almond, but I don't know. It's very specific, and investing in a bottle might be something that you're not willing to do, but once you do it, you don't ever really have to do it again because you use so little, right? Yeah. So like, I have a bottle, and so now I can just make Mai Tais when I please, but it's like, rum, orgeat, the works, but to get a solid Mai Tai recipe under your belt, it's a super impressive thing too to like whip out at parties or like to like host or whatever. If you can make people dope Mai Tais, and that's also such a fun one to like 6 maraschino cherries through a spear in a tiki cup. Like it just it feels nice. Very similarly, a zombie is like slightly adjacent to a Mai Tai. It's like you just use blue curacao, so it's blue. Yeah. So nice. It's, pretty similar there. I would say, or like, I know COVID's like tough, but like a scorpion bowl.
Yeah.
Like a huge scorpion bowl.
You and all
just,
your
like,
friends.
Share with 6 friends. Or just like make jungle juice, drink it with a big straw.
Exactly.
Basically.
Pretty much the same thing. Put a little sword on your side of your glass and you're fine. But what would you say to eat for this? Because the one thing that's popping into my head, I'm like, okay, it's like spring break theme sort of thing, you know what I mean? College students, like I'm gravitating towards like burgers and like cookout stuff, but I think kebabs would be a really fun one. Just some meat on a stick.
Oh my god, I was just thinking surf and turf kebabs, right? Like a bunch of shrimp on a skewer. Or like meat kebabs, because that also goes really well with tiki drinks. If you're kind of doing like spicy shrimp kebabs or something like that. If you definitely go more the island route, eat some Caribbean food, or like, you know, get some nice cultural spice blends in there. I totally agree with that. Also, in typical Scooby-Doo fashion, it's like Shaggy and Scooby are always like eating a really big hoagie.
True.
So if you just like make like a 3-foot long sub sandwich and eat it with your pals. I know that like from in the beginning and starting in 1969, Shaggy was a vegetarian because the guy who voiced Shaggy was very vegetarian. He was like, Shaggy can love food, but like I want that to be like true to me. So all the food that they seem like scarfing down could be, you know, somewhat traced back to. And over the years, obviously, it fluctuated a little bit with the different renditions of the show. But I read that this movie tried to really stick to that. So like at one point he eats an eggplant burger. Which he then puts chocolate sauce on. Or at the end where they're eating the spicy peppers, I think maybe you could do something like jalapeno poppers or like something fun with the spicy peppers at the end. Because during the credit scene, Shaggy and Scooby like try to eat hot peppers back and forth, and it's just like a fun comedic scene that plays in the background while the credits are rolling. But yeah, definitely maybe something like pepper based. I don't know if you're into like, if you're like spicy food, maybe do like a jalapeno popper or like a stuffed pepper or something like that.
I could so see that. And what would you follow this up with?
So, I've said this movie in the past.
Okay.
I've said it for a different movie, but I simply cannot ignore the very clear connections that there are here. Because both of these movies include Pamela Anderson playing herself.
Okay.
Right? So just like Pamela Anderson playing herself in a movie, immediate strong connection. But also, Isla Fisher plays Mary Jane in this movie. Isla Fisher is married to who? Sacha Baron Cohen, who is who? Borat. So in the first Borat movie, it has Pamela Anderson as herself, and then you've also got the marital connection between the two of them. It's just too obvious for me not to point out. So I mean, there's just like very strong ties to Borat here, if that's your jam. I totally respect if it isn't. It's very like love it or hate it kind of situation. I also had down Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because this movie gives me very escape room vibes.
Do you get...
No, Chamber of Secrets is number 2, where they, like, have to go, and it's like, when I make my move, you're free to touch the king.
No, Chamber of Secrets is the first one, then.
No, Philosopher's Stone is the first one.
Well, that one's...
Chamber of Secrets.
That quote is from Philosopher's Stone.
No,
yeah,
it's from the second one.
Yeah, no, because they have to go... No, because they have to, like, get into the vault where, like... What's his name?
I'm not gonna stop Snape from getting that stone!
Yeah.
But also, in the second one, don't they, like, go down and they, like, have to escape a plant?
They're in, like,
they have
the
to
sewer.
catch a key.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. Anyways, both of these movies gave me, like, escape room vibes at some point. So I guess I said that, too. Also, you could just pick any movie about a dog, really. Or any movie. You could just pick the second movie to this.
Yeah.
If you're real, or any other Scooby-Doo animated rendition.
That's what I was gonna
say.
What
you did, really super, that's the way.
Do, like, the werewolf ones, or the alien rock star ones, or whatever. I liked Cyber Chase a lot as a kid. That one was really good.
I looked up, somebody ranked all of them. Every Scooby-Doo movie ever, and the Cyber Chase was number 1 on the list I looked at. Yeah.
I wouldn't rank it there for myself, but I can understand why. But if you don't feel like doing a Scooby-Doo one, kind of like how you said you got escape room vibes from this, I got, like, really big Indiana Jones vibes from this movie. Like, they're still trying to... like
slightly culturally appropriative a little bit, but in a way that you're like, I gotta forgive it because it was the 80s or the 2002.
Trying to like,
I guess we're just gonna keep forgiving cultural appropriation. I was also thinking Indiana Jones,
trying to like stop the bad guys, and there's relics involved and a lot of action and like stuff like that. So definitely I'd say Indiana Jones is my choice for the follow-up.
For sure. And then 1 through 10. Is this the perfect film?
I'm giving it a 9, just because it's not like a good movie, but it's where my heart is.
It's not a good movie, but I like it.
Exactly. So, which I hate people that like always like rank movies like so like intensely like with the criteria of is it a good movie or not. It's like, no, I can rank it.
I like it.
I can rank it higher if I just really enjoy it, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Right? Like, I'm sorry I like National Treasure. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth I live in. I get that it's bad. Like, I know.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 7. I also feel like really positively and nostalgically towards it, but honestly, I gotta knock down a few points when I was thinking about doing this podcast, and I was like, if I had to summarize the plot, could I do it? No.
True.
And then I had to go back. I was like, holy fuck, I can't remember what happened in this. Like, truly less than 24 hours after I watched it, I could not have recited the plot back to you with any sort of sincerity or accuracy. But I love this one and the second one. They're both just so good. They're so fun. And then watching them around this time of year just gives me such like warm fuzzies.
Exactly.
Like, yes, it's simply right.
I don't know. It's just one of my favorite movies, honestly. I wouldn't say it's top 10, but it's top 25.
Yeah, or especially like if I were to make a list of like movies from my childhood that had a significant impact on the way I enjoy media today, I would really put this one up there, because this was, I mean, the CGI fucking sucks.
Yeah, of course.
The CGI is jank as hell. It's slightly like questionable 2002, like we're gonna use a culture to be about a movie in a way that's like maybe not super chill. Which is all like, yes, we can account for that today in 2021. But also, would I have noticed any of those things when I was 6 anyways? No. Probably not. No. Not that forgives it per se, but I still enjoyed watching it. It did make me want to watch the second one. I was like, damn, I could really watch the second one.
Isn't the second one has Shaggy with boobs in it, right?
Yes!
I was like, wait, I thought that was this one, and I thought I was going to see Shaggy with boobs, and I was honestly a little disappointed.
No, the second one is like a little hornier.
And I love that.
And a little more, I think they realized what they could get away with the first one, and they were like, oh, let's like push it a little more. The second one's so good too. In the same way that if you asked me what it was about, I'd be like, Seth Green, a museum. But it's
Hot
but
Velma.
It's definitely still
I just say it's Hot Velma.
Hot mommy.
Sorry, mommy.
But so we're thinking about like maybe trying to do a live stream if anybody would be interested in attending one of those, just like to gauge interest, because we don't really know, if 2 people are going to show up. I mean, that would still probably be cool if 2 people
just
showed
hang out.
up. Right, we can just ball out and watch a movie, but we're planning on hopefully recording together sometime in the near future. So if we could, like, I don't know, get a couple of y'all on board, we would love to also, like, include questions and, like, discussion, I don't know, in some sort of, even if it's not, like, for an official podcast thing, just something for shits and
why
giggles.
not?
So if anybody thinks that would be something that sounds fun, it could be something we could probably do in the near future.
Should we dress up? Should we wear costumes?
I was gonna say, I definitely, if not anything super formal or official, I will wear an orange turtleneck, and then I'm Velma, because that's just, I've got it. But I do have a few costumes packed, and ready to roll.
We'll have to work it out.
But also, we just put out new stickers, which is really exciting. A friend of the pod, Courtney, at Shoddy7, it's spelt a particular way, so we'll put it in the bio or the description below, but they drew us some really fucking cool swamp related things. We put them on stickers for you guys to buy, so if anyone would like a sticker, or if you buy other shit on our website, like if you buy a tote bag or something, we usually just throw in a sticker, for free for anybody who spends any sort of significant amount of money. Also, be sure to enter our giveaway later this month. We give away stickers and other merch in that as well, so definitely take a look at our website if you care to do so. Keep your eyes peeled for chocolate or vanilla on our Instagram. All the links to our socials will be in the description below. And thank you for listening to Ooky Spooky Kooky Dookie Month. We'll be moving forward with some movies that also fit into that theme if you have any grasp on what it means, because we might. So, signing off, all I have to say is Jinkies.